Welcome, my friends. TGIF, we made it through the week. And it's hard to believe. Yes, the weekly reading that I'm doing is the 8th through the 14th. We're heading into the middle of the week. Like I said in the last video, when I looked at the weekly review, I encourage you guys to set some intentions because this month, the summer is going to slip by very quickly on us. There's going to be a lot going on. So, what intentions do you have for the week ahead and for the rest of May? Now, and I won't lie, there's a lot going on next week. So Sunday, we have Mother's Day, of course. So for all my friends who are mothers or who are going to be mothers, happy Mother's Day. Then on Tuesday, you can start to put in your head Darth Vader's Death March. Mercury retrograde comes in to play for the second time out of 4 for 2022 on Tuesday. I know. So there's a lot going on in the next week. The intentions are going to be important. So for this kind of week, I chose some pretty fun decks. This is the Radiant Scales Tarot. I love it. I love the shine. It's beautiful. And the imagery is gorgeous. If you're into dragons, this is a fantastic deck. It was a Kickstarter. I don't know what decks are left, but it was a fantastic program that I stumbled on. Absolutely love it. And because we have such different energies, I chose The Magic of the Unicorn's Oracle by Diana Cooper. We need this gentle energy to help give us that foundation to deal with what's coming up in the next week. Now, next week, you'll see me a number of times, as I will be doing on Monday a Mercury retrograde reading, and then also a reading for the full flower moon later in the week. So you'll see a lot of me next week. Let's get into this week to see what we can expect. What can my friends expect from the week of May 8th through the 10th? Now, of course, like always, I have a healing coming in on Tuesday that can help you out. And any of the healings and meditations that I have on my list, like on my playlists, will help, especially as we get into Mercury retrograde. Now, if you're new to my channel and you've just kind of found me, welcome. Not only do I give the tarot oracle guidance that you want and need, I also have a lot of playlists for meditations, mindfulness tools, healings that you can use as you need. They're all guided and supported, and what's more is they're free. I'm not a monetized channel. Any ads is all YouTube, not me. So you have the ability to use this stuff to your advantage to help you overcome some of these challenges. And let's be honest, Mercury retrograde always throws a big monkey wrench into everything. And I just talked about this. Soul healing. Align your essence. See your true colors. So the one thing I can say about this lifetime is that we knew going in that we would have access to the most knowledge that's going to be able to be shared globally very quickly. We had and knew that we would have the ability to heal ourselves. We are carrying things genetically on our DNA from our physical family and our spiritual family. Not to mention, we're carrying stuff from past lifetimes and from this lifetime. We have layers upon layers of gunkiness that we're trying to release and heal. That's why I have so many different meditations and so many different healings, because we have a lot of work to do, and we knew that. It's time that we start working on it. Enlightenment. Look for the highest perspective. See the divine in everyone. Like I said, Mercury retrograde comes in on Tuesday. We need to stay in that high vibration. We need to stay up in our frontal cortex, which means using our mind, which means using that intuition to ask the questions, to explore the challenges and problems, and to check in. When Mercury is in retrograde, so it's an optical illusion that it looks like the planet is going backwards. Well, that optical illusion, it has to do with the distance between Mercury and the sun. It's in the rotation of where Mercury is. That's the scientific part. The energetical part that we feel, because Mercury is controlling, it works, its energies work with our communication abilities. That all goes down and it's more challenging. This is when you have computer problems. Many of us struggle emotionally because there's lots going on and people are being misunderstood. You're being misunderstood. There's a lot more aggression and anger, frustration. It's not fun. This is why a lot of us who are very aware of Mercury retrograde are like, oh, not again. There's 4 of them in 2022. Yay. We can't stop it. Knowing about it does help us to overcome it. That's why I do a reading specifically on how we're going to deal with Mercury retrograde. And this is the kicker. What's more, what you can kind of get out of Mercury retrograde. Because Mercury, even though it's a smaller planet, has such a big impact on us, there are opportunities that are sometimes in its shadow. They're there, but we don't see them. They're not as sparkly as what Mercury retrograde makes things look. So there are unique opportunities that only come up during Mercury retrograde. So we're going to use those to our advantage as well. So staying in that highest perspective, which is called high vibration, which does mean that you are using your frontal cortex. You're able to assess the situation. You're able to check in. You're able to see what's happening because we know as a planet, we're all impacted by it. It's not like some people get you get a get out of jail free card. No, it's globally. Not only is it interactions individually, like person to person, it also impacts our computers. Yay! So having that ability to take that break, to take that breath. I remember Mercury retrograde last time. I struggled with my mic. My mic is still not the best. It's like it got frazzled during Mercury retrograde. So I was struggling. People could see me, couldn't hear me. Right? Taking that deep breath, checking into where you are, and also checking into what others are perceiving you say. Use a lot of I statements in that, my friends. So, I'm hearing you say this. We just shared a lot of information. Can I just double check on what I'm interpreting and what you heard me say so that we know that we're on the same page? Lots of I statements, so it's not feeling like an attack on others because they're in Mercury retrograde too. That gut reaction is a real thing. So staying in that high vibration and seeing and having compassion for others. So knowing that, you know what, not everybody knows about it. And actually, as I talk to people about it, they're like, that explains so much. Yeah, it does. But at the same time, having that compassion when someone, even though they may know about Mercury retrograde, is in a full out tailspin. It goes a long way in helping kind of ease some of that heartache and pain. We don't need to add to what we're already carrying because, as I just said, it's a lot. All right, let's get some more cards on the deck, shall we? What can my friends expect from the beginning of the week? Now, this is kind of, yes, we have Mother's Day on Sunday, but depending on where you are, Mercury will go into retrograde sometime Monday night, Tuesday morning-ish. It just really depends. If you really want to know the hour, go on and check the chart out, okay? They always have charts of this part of the country will feel it in this time. You know what? Know what's coming. And also know that some people are actually even intentionally drawing that energy down because they're so worried about it. Don't worry about it. Know it's there. Similar to that, like when you're taking a test in school, you knew it was coming. But if you worried about it, it was a lot worse. So what you have is called a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm going to project. That's going to be a nightmare. So what do? Well, you're going to prove yourself right. However, if you go, you know what? I know that's going to be a challenge, but I know that I have the tools and abilities to overcome it because I've done it in the past. Knowing it or not knowing it, I've done it, will cause it to have less impact. So you're going to use karma to your advantage. I love this queen. This is the Queen of Fire, or also known as the Queen of Wands. Now, this queen is usually really sassy. She's got it all going on. She is in total and utter control. She uses her gifts and talents like, yeah. It's not what we're feeling. If you look at this, and I kind of like this rendition of her, she looks like, you know what? You do the wrong step and I'm going to light your butt on fire and it's going to be a holy inferno. That's more the energy we're feeling. We're very reactive and the littlest thing is going to set us off. It's going to be important that we're aware of this and that we're checking into self. This is not high vibrational. This is, well, low vibration because it's frustration, it's anger. We can easily turn this queen to our advantage through checking into self. Where are we at? How frustrated are we? And where are our anger levels at? And two, if they're high, start to release that energy. Like I said, 10 minutes ago, I do have a lot of meditations. So I've got releasing and grounding meditations on most of my meditative playlists. But if it's one of those things that you're checking in and you know you're at work and you don't have a lot of time, in my short and sweet meditative playlist, I do have meditations that will help with that release of frustration within like 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. I create tools that you guys can use in your everyday that's going to help with the challenges that you're being presented with when you're being presented with them. Yeah, 7 of Fire. That conflict, it's starting the whole week off. Your week is starting in like a rain of fire. We need to have control over this anger, over this frustration now. Because, like I said, it's only going to get more challenging. Not to mention, people around you are already activated. So that means that you're adding fuel to your fire. That compassion I was talking about, taking that deep breath, giving yourself permission to take a break, excusing yourself, and even this is the easiest trick I can say when you have that frustration and that or it's anxious energy, because that can also be presented in that same kind of passiony flame. If you're feeling really kind of tingly or anger, excuse yourself to go to the bathroom. We aren't going to question that. Taking that breath and step away gets you away from that fuel. Going to the bathroom, taking some deep breaths, putting your hands under water, running water. Doesn't matter temperature, you don't need soap, just water. And feel that grr, that prickle just be drawn out and away. It's a tool that you can use because no one's going to say, no, you can't go potty right now, right? Being able to use that tool, getting that step away will help because we know that the beginning of the week, we're starting off, well, on fire. It's going to be important for us to use intention and be very clear with self about putting this fire and dousing it down. We need to put it out because, like I said, it's only going to get more aggravated and amplified as the week goes on, because as of Tuesday, we're Mercury retrograde. Let's go into the middle of the week. What can my friends expect? Whoa! Thank you. From the middle of the week. Oh, we have cards every which way from Sunday. Oh my goodness. So we're going to start up with the one that's came up face first. This is the Page of Wands. Now, ways to help combat some of this fire. Well, of course, it's going to be water, right? So this is the Page of Cups. Also, cups are about intuition. What did I say is going to help us out the most? Staying up here. So staying in that processing, intuitive energy. We don't want our heart center to explode and drive us forward because it's going to only add fuel to your fire. We do want passion to ignite and bring us that fulfillment, but we don't want it to snowball and just erupt into flames. Think of it as heartburn versus passion. Okay? We don't want it to aggravate problems. We want it to fuel us in a positive way. Now, the page, it talks about taking that deep breath, taking that pause, having some fun, because we're looking at that innocent, childlike energy, exploring our world with that rose-colored glasses. More importantly, the Page of Cups is one of the most flexible cards in the deck. We have to roll with the punches rather than try and stand our ground. Standing our ground, that aggression will only, make things worse for us because we're in Mercury retrograde. Do we want to be a pushover? No. But we want to be more flexible than what we usually or currently are. Talks about that compassion for self and others. The Ace of Cups, or the Ace of Water. Really talking about that need to douse this fire by using that intuition, by using that water. Like I said, that hand flowing water trick, super easy. And people don't usually question why you're going to wash your hands, right? What are you doing? Because it just looks like you're washing your hands. We need to use this time to fuel us rather than bog us down. Like I said, there's a lot of opportunity for some amazing aspects and possibilities to come forward. We need to be present in mind so that we can start to embrace them. Have the Holy Grail in play in the middle of the week, which really talks about the opportunities that Mercury retrograde is going to present. Now, don't worry, I will be talking about, on Monday, I'll be doing a reading for Mercury retrograde, and we can get into it more. But know that there are many opportunities that are going to be presented to you. It's up to you to be present of mind. We can't be present of mind if we're overwhelmed and on fire. The Ace of Earth, or the Ace of Pentacles. So we've got double ones here already. Now, many of us will see the multiple one, and we're like, wow, that's kind of crazy. Well, when we see multiple ones, the angels are trying to tell us that we need to use our natural gifts and abilities to push ourselves forward. There's lots of opportunity coming our way. So we need to start to allow our natural self, that soul self, to come forward. How do we do that? Present in mind. Knowing that we do have some emerging aspects as we have slowly started to see things unravel and kind of will be unearthed within ourselves. We've pushed a lot of stuff down far as we've grown. as we developed. Many of us needed it to cope with adolescence. Know that we can start to unearth those now. Use them to our advantage. Also, as we're starting to put puzzle pieces together here, we're planting more so that more aspects will come forward. So know that this is the time not only for new opportunities, but for some stuff that we've been holding on to, we weren't too sure about, to come forward. Starting to work with them will help to douse down this flame and being able to use right here and right now to our advantage. Okay. Rather than just having time slip away and you're like, well, what happened to it? I don't feel like I got anywhere. Taking that time, even doing some inner reflection to start to work with that soul self, that soul song. And the easiest way to do that is by checking in. Where are you at right now? How are you feeling? What's going right? Those 3 questions can really help you start to unearth and uncover aspects of self that haven't been acknowledged in a while. The 5 of Earth. This is such a pretty dragon. It's the nose there with some flowers. Now, the 5 of Earth, or the 5 of Pentacles, talks about feeling kind of disconnected and isolated. Many of us do still feel like that. Let's be honest, back in March 2020, when the world was shutting down, most of us still haven't got back on our feet and feeling connected, feeling understood. The more we are present in ourselves, the more we're working on self, the more we're going to be able to connect with, our physical support team, our spiritual support team. The more we understand self, the stronger our ability and our higher our vibration to work with the high vibrational beings, to understand what it is that we need to do, what we should be doing. The Wheel of Fortune. It's the 10th card in the Major Arcana, and it talks about that movement forward. We do have that ability to move forward. However, we also have the ability to slow this down and struggle with it because we're resisting the changes that need to happen. Because of fear, because of doubt. That soul gets buried even further. So those emerging aspects get more crap put onto them. It's about releasing it and working with the Wheel of Fortune, that wheel of time, to help us to get out more of what we want. The days don't just slip by. You don't put your head down and go. You enjoy. It's fun. You love what you're doing. You love life. It sounds corny, but it's possible to start to align that more fully, especially with intention and, kind of perseverance. So the middle of the week, we're starting to see some of that emerge. Mercury retrograde is going to give us a good kind of declogging, if you will, shaking it up a bit so that we can start to move forward more. Rather than just going forward without direction and meaning, this brings in the meaning and direction that we're looking for. Why? Because we're being more present and aware of self and situation. Right. Let's go on to the end of the week. What can my friends expect from the end of the week? So the end of the week, we will also have the full flower moon. Its energies in play as we have the full flower moon coming in on the 16th, which is the following Monday. So 2 days before that, so about Saturday-ish, we're going to have that full flower moon coming in and, adding its energy to the Mercury retrograde energy that we're feeling. Which is going to be interesting. This is the 5 of air or the 5 of swords. We're going to see from, it's kind of like we went from on fire to calm. Okay, we've got this. Sure, there was a blip. We started the week off rough. We've got this reflection, time for self, giving self that kind of reprieve before we get hit again with another energetical push. Now, the 5 of Swords talks about that conflict. Sometimes Mercury retrograde really does feel like you're on some sort of weird roller coaster going up and down. Well, you're going back up again. It's going to be important that we nurture self and have compassion for self in the middle of the week, because the end of the week, we're going back into that conflict, that challenge. Now, we do have double 5s, the 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Swords. An angel message is when you have that multiple 5, the angels are telling you something positive is coming your way. Stay true to your course. So in tarot, 5s mean conflict, but in angel messages, it means something good's coming forward. We need to stick to our guns, stay to the route and path that we're leading ourselves down, and not get kind of sidetracked with more challenge, with that conflict. Because our ego likes to come in and go, ooh, there's a fight. Ooh, there's a challenge. Ooh, we got to go over here. We need to make sure that we take that deep breath, we stabilize ourselves, and keep going down the path that we'd already identified. It's so easy to get sidetracked. Temperance. She's the 14th card in the Major Arcana, and she talks about energy flow and balance. And that's going to be helpful because the more stable we are within ourselves, so we've got that grounded, centered energy, the more we're going to be able to go, oh, look at the problem. Going to keep going because it's important that I don't get sidetracked. You stay up here a lot better when you are grounded and stable. That's why all my meditations end off on a grounding element or are all about grounding. Grounding helps us to calm our mind and keep us being able to think rather than get caught up in that chaotic energy that happens to, occur a lot in our heads. So having that grounded, stable energy. We need to make sure that we are creating it within ourselves so that we can help amplify it around us. Ways that we can do that, of course, is through meditation. One of my favorite crystals, this is called tiger iron. It's really pretty. It's kind of black with red. Works with our root chakra and helps us really amplify that grounded energy. It's hard for a crystal to create that energy within us, but it's easy for that crystal to maintain it longer for us. So if you do a quick meditation or a meditation in the morning, and then you carry something like this with you, it helps to really maintain that grounded energy throughout your day. Finally, the 3 of Earth or the 3 of Pentacles. And of course, if you see in the background here, there's a tree here. The tree of life. It grows. It takes time. It also takes a lot of elements. I like to call the 3 of Pentacles my Triforce Perfecta. It's working with self, working with our physical support team, and our spiritual support team. Through collaboration and cooperation, we're able to get more done. Now we know we're in Mercury retrograde, so it's going to be important that we are very compassionate to our physical support team. Our spiritual support team isn't as impacted by Mercury retrograde because they're not on this plane. They're on the spiritual plane. Just as we don't have a problem hearing your ego scream red alert because it's a lower vibrational energy. For us, for them, our energy is lower vibrational, so they don't have a problem hearing us. We have a problem hearing them. During Mercury retrograde, is that added and amplified? It can be. But through intention, grounding, and stability, we can start to open ourselves up, helping to really reconnect in. So we feel connected to our physical support team and our spiritual support team. Like I said, will there be a lot of challenge at the end of the week? Yes. However, we stay grounded and stable. We can keep going on this path. That connection and that understanding and the growth that we need is essential. So we can't get sidetracked, which I know we can easily do. It's an easy thing. We do it all the time because this feels overwhelming, whereas this feels like it needs to be dealt with right away. Check into it. Does it really need to be dealt with? And are you the one that needs to deal with it? Or are you adding fuel to that flame? So that reflection and that check-in will help you stay in that high vibration. All right. What further guidance and help can we give and share with my friends so that they're able to get the most out of this week? And of course, when I say get the most out of this week, it doesn't mean that it's just going to be handed to us. We do need to work at it. And that's okay. Actually, when we work at stuff, we find we kind of honor it and respect it more than if it was handed to us, because that was someone else's interpretation or someone else's work. We don't have that connection. Cosmic Rainbow. Looking for the pot of gold, accepting joy. Even in challenge, there's light and joy. That's the high vibration. We want to keep our eye on that prize. What is that prize for you? And how can you bring it into your everyday? That abundance, that happiness. Because again, there are a lot of times that intentionally we deny ourselves that because we don't feel ourselves worthy. So clearing some of that out so that we are able to accept and embrace joy, happiness, abundance. Because sometimes we truly are our worst enemy. Unicorn relationships. Let go of now. Forgiveness is freedom. Goes along the lines with what I said about not being able to give yourself permission for joy and happiness. Our relationship with ourselves is sometimes the worst relationship we have. That forgiveness of what we think we should have, could have, or didn't do. Start to shift that energy from one of prosecution and hatred to one of acceptance and joy, of love. And that's part of what this core work that we're looking at is asking you to do, because it's shifting into that acceptance. It's shifting into these possibilities, to that soul song. And you can only start to embrace those aspects when we start to release some of the hatred and anger we have to ourselves. Create your vision. Do what makes your heart sing. You are being nudged forward. Like I said, that heart song. Those aspects that bring us joy and happiness, if we're not able to accept it, we're going to miss out on a lot of the opportunities of growth and development that are going to be presented this week. This week is a lot about that aha, but not aha about global things or general things. This is an aha about you and your soul song. I am presence. And yes, this is Archangel Metatron's cube here. Expand your stellar gateway. I am that I am. So your stellar gateway is a 5th dimensional chakra It's the 12th chakra in your system. A lot of people are talking more about it now than before. We originally, I say that originally, so children born today, I found more and more of them have the fifth dimensional chakra system in play as they come into this lifetime, whereas the majority of us still have the third dimensional chakra system that has the seven. So the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. Well, the fifth dimensional adds obviously 5 more at a higher vibration, allowing us to open up ourselves to more of this energy. Archangel Metatron, who does a lot of work with kids with special abilities, they've been called indigo kids, crystal kids, you name it. And there's more and more of them because our vibration is slowly rising as a whole. But he works with us on our stellar gateway, which is an ascension chakra, which is going to help us with that understanding, with vibration, or high vibrational energy absorption and use. So we're talking about starting to work with self, working with our tools to help us. And I bring out a tool that will work and help you with this. It's not new to me. It's just I was helping you guys understand it a bit more. This past week, I did a Crystal 101 where I did crystal grids. And Archangel Metatron's cube was the crystal grid I highlighted. Now, on my community page, you will find pictures where you can just copy the picture and print it out and use that as your crystal grid to help. And crystal grids amplify what it is we're trying to do, whether that's heal self, connect into our soul song, understand self better. A crystal grid uses sacred geometry on top of what the crystal is naturally used for. So something like rose quartz is about self-love. So using those tools to your advantage to help start to really engage with what is being presented to you this week. And it's a big one, guys. This is something that's going to help you tremendously as we go through not only Mercury retrograde, but as we go throughout this decade, that understanding and connection to self. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. Like I said in this video, I will be alive a number of times next week, so please stay tuned. There's lots of help coming forward as we roll into Mercury retrograde and into the full moon and into Gemini, and there's lots coming up. So if you did like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It does help people find me on the sea of YouTube. More importantly for you, if you did like this video and you're interested in more guidance, healing, teachings, and supports, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. So not only are you notified when I'm live, but when I've posted more supports, because Tuesdays I like to post weekly healings or meditations. I do 101 sessions to help out with more tools, more knowledge on how to move forward. Again, I want to thank you guys for joining me this week, and I look forward to seeing how this week transpires for you. Until tomorrow, my friends.